So some of you must be wondering, why did I leave Melbourne and why did I not tell anyone about it? I didn't say goodbye to any of my friends in Melbourne. That wasn't very nice. I had a fantastic time in Melbourne during the first semester. I had so much fun. I was doing quite well. And even though I had a lot of problems, like I would say it's the first time I am living by myself. And I wasn't so sure of, how to do that and how to be independent and how to socialize. I mean, I went to college in Malaysia to get my diploma in culinary arts. But that was really different because I was living with my parents and it wasn't lonely. Like after class I would just go home and I didn't really socialize much with my friends when I was in college in Malaysia because I didn't feel the need to, and I wasn't a social person. So like every time in Malaysia after class I would just leave and go home and that was it. But living alone, I think I had the need to socialize and make friends and stuff. And so I did, and I made a lot of really good friends in Melbourne, and I had, like I said, I had a really good time in Melbourne. So why did I leave if I had such a good time? If I was having so much fun? There were problems, like a lot of problems I had with the uni and with myself, and like, I don't know, I had culture shock. And it was hard. I didn't know how to act, how to behave. So basically, I became this weird person who would talk a lot and say weird things. And looking back, I think I was quite an asshole. And I was really cocky. And I talked a lot of shit. Don't really know why, but that happened. I don't know, it was probably... I can't explain it why my behavior changed so much, but so like why did I leave during the second semester? During the holidays before the second semester, I got a job at a bar in Melbourne called the Carlton, and it was during the holidays, and I worked there for, when I first worked there, it was like 10 days straight, like non-stop, and school was out. It was really good. I got a lot of experience out of working there, and I was really busy. And when the second semester started, I told my head chef that, look, I can't work full-time anymore because I have to go to school as well. And he was like, fine, what days are you free? What days do you want to come? And I said, I'd rather work during the weekends because I don't really want to go out during the weekends anyway. So, okay. I worked on Fridays, Saturdays, and Mondays. It was good. It was working well with my schedule because I had classes on every other day. But it was really busy. Like, I had no free day. Like, every day I had something to do. I either had school or I had work. And that kind of put a halt to my social life I would say, a little bit. And before I knew it, it was my work, because I was actually clashing with some classes, and my classes were clashing with some other classes, and it was quite messy, it wasn't organized. So I tried to fix it by changing my work days and changing my classes. It still did not fit well. It would still clash, even though I would change here and there. It would still clash. Like, there was no way. It was either I had to quit my job, or I had to miss a few classes. So I chose to actually not quit my job and miss like 1 or 2 lectures, thinking that I could catch up by going online for the online tutorials and stuff, and that was fine. And it was working in the beginning. It was working quite well until we had to do group assignments, and where actually attending the lectures was necessary, where you had to understand everything in order to, you know, like really do well. And I was struggling with that. But I had, you know, really good friends who would actually take the time and teach me, or, you know, just tell me what I'm missing in class and stuff. And it was working well. And I even had like friends who already did that class, and I would, I don't know, hang out with them and ask them to, look, can you teach me this, because I don't get it. And, you know, my friends would gladly like teach me and stuff, and it was working. So, you know, if everything was working well, why did I leave? To be honest, I'm not really sure why and what came over, but I was terrified. I don't really know what triggered it, what snapped, but I don't know, it was the stress. It was the fact that I had something to do every day, the fact that I didn't really have much time to have some alone time, or like do things that I love to do. During this first semester, it was like just hanging out with friends and going to classes. But now that I had a 3-day job, it was quite difficult. I don't think that it's impossible to have a job and go to school at the same time, but I guess I didn't handle it quite well. So 2 months after the first semester start, I began to lose control. I was falling back on some of my classes. I was still doing really well in my practical classes, where I learned how to cook and stuff. I was doing really well. I did not miss any classes, and so there was really no reason for me to leave. But something inside me, I don't know, I felt really afraid, like I had to leave. Like, I thought that I would fail all my theory classes. Like, even though I could do really well for my practical classes, I was gonna fail my theory classes. I don't know, I was so afraid of failing. At first I stopped going for my theory classes, which was dumb. Like, what? Why? You're gonna fail and you miss your classes? It makes no sense. Yes, it doesn't make sense to me either, but I stopped going for classes. And then I lost, for some reason, kind of escalated. I lost interest in my practical classes as well. And my friends started to ask me, like, text me, like, hey, are you coming to class? I'm like, no. Like, why? I'm like, I don't know, I'm not going. And so I kept on going to work. I don't know why I stopped going for classes. I'm not sure if I told my mom, but I'm not sure. And then I started to become like really quiet, uncomfortable, and just, I don't know, like anxiety. I started having anxiety attacks, like, wow, what am I going to do now? Like, like you're missing classes and you're gonna fail your theory classes, even though you pass your, even though if you're gonna pass your practical classes, but that's like bad. So I was terrified. I was terrified to tell my parents, like, what if they see my results and it's, hey, you're failing all your theory classes. So I told no one. I didn't tell anyone. I don't know why. I could have told someone. I mean, I still have fantastic friends in Melbourne, and it kind of escalated from there. So I didn't talk. And my co-workers, my head chef, every time I go to work, he would be like, Amira, why are you so quiet? Because when I first came, I was talking like non-stop, and we were getting along, and it was so much fun. But after I stopped going for classes, I was very quiet, and I was very different. And when my coworkers started to notice that I didn't talk much, I felt uncomfortable. Like, I was terrified that they would find out something was wrong, and I didn't want them to know what was happening. I didn't want anyone to know what was happening. And so I quit my work. 4 days before I quit my work, I told my head chef, like, I didn't even call him. I didn't have the guts to call him. I was so scared. I texted him, look, I'm sorry, I have to go. I'm back to Malaysia. Something has happened, and I'm really sorry. And he was like, so you're not working anymore? I'm like, yes, I'm very sorry. Like, I hope you guys find another kitchen helper within 4 days. But yeah, and I stopped going to work. And then a week later, I don't know, after I stopped working, I told my mom what happened. That I stopped going for classes and I stopped working. So basically I was doing nothing in Melbourne. And like, my mom was asking me, so what are you doing staying in Melbourne if you're not going to work and you're not going to classes? I said, I don't know what was happening. And then I said, I don't think I can make it. I don't think I could actually finish school. And my mom asked me if I was sure that I don't want to continue, if I didn't want to finish school, like, why. It was kind of like, it was really sudden. It was really sudden for me, because I don't know what was happening. I didn't understand it myself. And I was terrified to tell my parents initially, but I mean, I had to. I couldn't just stay and do nothing. So I told my parents, and my mom said, okay, if you're sure, then there's no point of you staying in Melbourne. Then go back to KL, or just go back to KL. And a week after I quit work, I left Melbourne. I did not tell anyone. I didn't tell any of my friends. I think within the first week, nobody noticed that I was missing. After 2 weeks, I guess, people started noticing and like spamming my Facebook, like, where are you? Spamming my inbox, like, where are you? Where are you? And I ignored everyone. Like, I don't know why. I don't know why I left. I just didn't know why. I couldn't understand it at that time. I didn't understand, like, why I left Melbourne. Why did I do the things that I did? And so I didn't tell anyone, because I had a great time in Melbourne. I loved Melbourne so much, loved my friends, and I was so sad to leave Melbourne. It was like, wow, this is it. This is the end of my wonderful journey of, going to uni and having the time of my life apparently, but it was very soon. It was only the second semester. I was in shock, and during that state I couldn't tell anyone. So I just left. And everybody was like, what the fuck? Where are you? They kept on texting me, calling me and stuff, and I couldn't answer the phone, I couldn't pick up the phone. Couldn't do anything. So I stayed in KL to see my family. They were really shocked, like, what are you doing back in KL? Aren't you in Melbourne? And I lied. I said, oh, I'm having a break right now. I'll be back in Melbourne soon. Like, you know, I missed everyone in KL. Like, so like, it was fine. My family thought, okay, it's great to see you again. Hey, like, how's Melbourne and stuff? And that's when they noticed something was wrong, because I didn't talk about Melbourne. Like, as much as I loved it, I didn't talk about it. And they noticed that actually I'm not talking much. Like, I would give them like a yes, no answer, and it was a bit odd to them, because I spoke so fondly about Melbourne and how much I'm having fun in Melbourne and stuff, and for them to see that I'm not, like, I was kind of lifeless, like something was going on, like, and the thing is, you know, it's great that as family you care, like, you want to know, are you okay? Do you need help? Something wrong? It's great that you're asking, but if I don't answer you, I think it's obvious that I don't want to answer you. Like, I appreciate that you care, or even if you have some ulterior motives behind your questions, I don't really care. But if I don't answer you, don't push me. Like, don't push me and keep on asking me and staring me down. Like, what happened? What happened? What happened? It's so annoying. It's like, you know how people, when they're not happy and you ask them, like, are you okay? And you're just so annoyed, you don't really want to explain, and you don't really want to talk, and you just say, I'm fine. And then they would reply, like, you don't sound fine. You don't sound happy. Like, what happened? And they couldn't